Wonderful good morning. I just got to the office and I had a super interesting conversation yesterday. And initially I didn't think a lot about it, but the more I think on it, the more I realize how interesting it would be to share that. Let me explain. So yesterday I got off a call, and usually when I talk to people that are interested in working with us, I show them how we work, how our process looks like. And for me, it's like the most basic thing ever, and the person was like completely mind blown. And so let me show you why he was mind blown. And to understand that, I want to go into the question, what actually influences the ROI of A/B testing? And essentially it's three factors. So we have, maybe let's not do it with sticky notes, let's do it as a formula. The ROI is, first of all, how many tests you run, so the frequency, times the cost you have to pay for them, like obviously. And then the last thing, which is super relevant, is the success rate. And that pretty much is everything you need to do if you want to have a successful A/B testing program. Sounds super simple initially, but then if you get into it, well, how can we actually have a high frequency? How can we have low cost? And most importantly, what I want to focus on is this part right here, the success rate. So the person I talked to, he was working with a different agency. He was like, yeah, barely anything works. So the biggest problem, like the agency was super cheap. So that was good. They were running some tests, also good, but the ROI was bad. Like, was not there. So the main problem was the success rate. And then he asked me, how are you able to like consistently have high success rates? Because I think on average, our projects have like 35-40% success rates. So 4 out of 10 tests actually are increasing revenue. And I showed him this example right here. Let's not skip to the result right away. This one right here. And what you see is a test about upselling. And maybe, yeah, I'm going to show you. That is a reference. So we tested something for Snocks. And the major issue we had was that even though we have like quantity selectors and like pre-selected quantities that users should take, we really were struggling with upsells. Previously, we tried putting upsells in the cart. We tried putting upsells in the checkout. What we learned and realized is that when people buy from Snocks, they are not really receptive for upsells after they've seen a product page. So our idea was, okay, how can we maybe upsell them to bundles directly on the product page? So initial idea was a brainstorm, because we had data that Snocks has some bundles that they also push on paid advertising. So we sort of knew what products would go well together. So we had like initial start on where to go and where to start. And then our idea was, because the bundles are a little bit discounted, it's just you buy more, Snocks pays shipping, and that's what they also forward to the customer, so they don't have to pay more. So you see like it's around a €9 saving, like nothing too crazy, but nothing too small. And if you actually need, like, in addition to the underwear, new socks, you might just as well take it because it's a benefit for you as a customer. But what we started out first was like this design right here, because we were struggling to figure out, well, how are we doing it in a good way. And then that was the first iteration. We just had the color and the size and already tried it with drop downs. And then we had a bunch of iterations. For example, what we tested on the product pages is that we knew, well, if we actually expand the pictures and the size, more people will convert. But then the more we went over it and the more we talked to our psychologist, then we had a look at stuff like Baymont Institute. I'm going to put it down here. So if you design, like maybe the first takeaway, when designing, make loops, no, have a ton of loops. I think that's the right grammar. Have a ton of loops. That's the first thing. Like, you want to make sure that the test and the hypothesis you're testing is the best thing you actually can come up with, and use like all the experience that you have. So yeah, that right there got brought to a meeting, I think, then as well, and the team wasn't able to agree on it. And then we went further and further, and you see like from here to here, like very teeny tiny steps, like not a lot of differences. Then you go here, then finally we have like, okay, it's that again, and then we have this right here with a drop-down menu, so it looks already way better, and the user can use it way simpler. And then we just kept on, let me see, yeah, that right here, we had like another test with like bundles. So we had to design that variation as well. But then we had that loop, and then ultimately we came up with the loop 7, which also was the final test variation, and which was super simple. Let me show it to you really quick. So you just had that selector right here, made it very easy for the customer, it doesn't overwhelm him, he can select everything easy. And that all started with this idea right here. And funnily enough, we also tested that idea, I think, some time ago, and it did not work initially. So that was why we did that many loops here, and that's why we have a ton of loops in our process by now. And I think most people that are doing A/B testing are not focusing on that, on a success rate. They're just like focusing, oh, okay, I want to have a test for, let's say, I don't know, like one of the most frequent things I hear is, we want 10 A/B tests for 500, where's the euro sign? 500 euro each. Well, you can get that, and might could work, but for 500 euros, it is impossible to put in the work to just get everything done here. Like, I mean, you probably can like figure out yourself how much time it takes just like to do all these iterations, have the meetings, then go. I'm just gonna put a screenshot in because I think everyone should do that. There's something called Baymart Institute. That is what we use. Give me 1 second, need to screenshot it. So yeah, that's like stuff that we take into account when we design. Like maybe to put in a process, we have the idea down here. So idea/hypothesis. I'm gonna do a whole video probably right after on how we prioritize ideas. And then we have the initial design. And then what happens, we take stuff like Baymart and also some different sources. So for example, Baymart, we take into account what did they find out. They have a bunch of guidelines. What guidelines do they have? What can we take into account to make the design more likely to outperform the reference? So that's the first one that we use. Then another one, a huge shout out to Jakub, and we also are giving him quite some test results, is called Good UI. And let me just see if I can log in really quick. No, because I can't log in, have a new computer. So, but yeah, I'll put a screenshot in, and then I think you sort of see what the fuss is all about. That's what we use as well. So here it is. And also in there, like, I'm going to explain it really quick. If you look at Good UI, what you're gonna see, there are different patterns. And then you're gonna see right away what they have tested. For example, here, there was a product categories test by Metro, funnily in Russia, which is super interesting, just 1 day ago. But then if you have the paid version, you can go into it and you see, did that perform better or worse? And that way you also can take the data from Good UI and the design inspiration to make your design that's like the final testing version better. Because I do believe in putting more time in and having more loops increases the chance of the success rate a lot. And obviously, like before that, before you even test the hypothesis, you have research. I know I'm gonna get hate for that I didn't put it in earlier. But yeah, that's like a given for me, like having research before the idea actually gets even designed. But yeah, that is what I just wanted to share really quick, because I just couldn't comprehend that it's so much magic. It's just like put in the work and come up with good test ideas. But I think most people do not have this formula in mind when they think about A/B testing. They just think about cost and frequency, but they do not understand if they would increase the cost a little bit and the success rate goes up by like 10-15%, it's way better spending like 1,000, 2,000 euros extra per test if you have like 50% better win rate, in my opinion. And also, yeah, do the math yourself. I hope that video helped. Just wanted to get it out, share it with you guys. And if there are any questions, let me know. Also, feel free to DM me, because I'm currently still trying to figure out how I can help you best. Super excited about the feedback. And December 19th today, so Merry Christmas already, if you see that. And hope you're having a blast and a great weekend.